Guess what, kids? Example 4 is a difference of perfect squares. Hey, remember? I told you, it just keeps coming back. But it's beautiful because it's simple. So the first one, A, gave us x squared minus y squared. That's easy because it's a squared minus a squared. So I set up my brackets and I put the square root of the first one in the beginning minus plus the square root of the second one in the end. Done. That's simple, right? So that's going to be the basic pattern that we're going to follow throughout these other two questions, which are actually a little tedious. And they'd be a lot more tedious if you actually factored or multiplied this out and then simplified your terms, and then try it one time. You'll realize that these little methods that we're doing are a lot handier than longhand. So we get started. I can see that I've got something squared minus something squared. And so some people will just substitute it in as an x and a y. Other people will find that really confusing, and that's why I kind of have a little bit of fun with it and just change it into something different. So this time we're going to do stars. So we're going to write, whoops, over here I'm just going to write that 2x minus 1 equals an orange star, and y plus 4 equals, a green question mark. The smiley faces were a little tedious. I'm looking for simpler this time. So I'm going to rewrite this question then as star squared minus green question mark squared, which means I can factor it right away as star minus plus green question mark. That's pretty much it. Now I just have to plug in the actual values. So I'm going to do that. In this set of brackets, I'm going to go star is 2x minus 1 minus, now this gets a little tricky because you're subtracting it, which means you're going minus the y plus 4, right? So that could cause some people some issues because they'll just go subtract and then write in the y plus the 4, but then you're adding the 4, not subtracting it. So the best way to do it is just to keep it in the brackets like this so that you'll remember to switch it up. Now going over to the next set of brackets, I got a star, so I'm going to put in a 2x minus 1. And I'm adding this time so the brackets don't matter. I'm going to add y plus 4. You can put the brackets in if they help you, but when you're adding, it doesn't change the value. It only changes the value when there's a subtraction involved. So I go back to this one. I've got 2x minus 1 minus y minus 4. So if it's subtracting y plus 4, then it's minus y minus 4. The other way you can look at it is you're multiplying by a negative 1 through the bracket, so you're changing the signs. Okay? This one, I just collect my like terms right away. I've got 2x plus y, and then the minus 1 and plus 4 give me plus 3. That set of brackets is done. This one's got one more step that I can simplify my like terms. So I end up, and I'm just rewriting this one with that. So even though there's a few steps involved, they're pretty basic because you're not doing any complex math. You're certainly not addressing these binomials as squared. So that's handy. Over to this one. There's big numbers. So as soon as we look at this, we're going 32, 18, are you kidding me? There's got to be a common factor there. So we look, I know that if this were a perfect square minus a perfect square, that things would be a lot handier. probably your book's going to allow that. So then you think, what do I have to reduce it by to get to a number that has a perfect square? 32 and 18, they're both even numbers. Let's try taking a 2 out. Put the big 2 out here and rewrite those numbers. 32 becomes 16, x plus 2 squared, and 18 becomes 9, 2y minus 3 squared, all in the big brackets. So now the numbers are a little smaller, and look at that, they're perfect squares, 16 and 9. Who knew? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to substitute my little stuff in the brackets, and it doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to use the same terms again. I'm going to write that x plus 2 is now equal to an orange star, and that 2y minus 3 is going to be equal to the green question mark. I'm going to rewrite this knowing that. I've got the 2 on the outside. Now it's just 16 star, squared minus 9 question mark squared. So I can factor that by leaving the 2 on the outside and using my pattern. Just wondering if I'm going to run out of room here. I've got the 4 and the 3 from the 16 and the 9. I've got a minus and a plus, and then I've just got my star and my question mark. So that's factored. Now I have to actually do the substitution part. So I'm going to have 2 times 4 times, and the star was worth x plus 2, minus 3 times the question mark was worth 2y minus 3, all in one set of brackets. And this next set of brackets is going to be 4 times x plus 2 plus 3 times 2y minus 3, like that. So now I'm going to multiply through all of the brackets inside the big square brackets. 2 times, so 4x plus 2, or 4x, 4 and 2 is 8, minus 3, so that's a negative 3. So negative 3 times 2y is 6y, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. That's a little simpler now. And over here I've got 4x plus 8 plus 6y minus 9. Now I've got some terms that I can collect and simplify. I've got 8 and the 9 here, and the 8 and the 9 there. But notice that they're different signs, so they will be different total values. This one's 4x, positive 8 and positive 9. I'll just write down the y term first and then add my 17. And this one's 4x plus 6y plus 8 minus 9 gives me a negative 1. So they don't exactly match up, but they are as simple as they're going to be, and that's the solution.